Hi guys, welcome back to Marant's Rants. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, a whole lot of truth, no financial advice. This is a one-take session, no edits, no cuts, about private equity, leverage buyouts, publicly traded companies. You guys know what this is called. It's called Connecting the Dots. This one's called Part 35. If you want to watch the rest of the series, guys got to go to the playlist. Go ahead and check out the playlist on the channel. There's Connecting the Dots. Watch them all. That infinitely make you a better investor because you'll understand exactly what's happening with your investment whenever you see private equity walk through the door. Take myself off the screen and we'll get to it. Now, this is KKR. And I put GameStop on there because that's what drove me to KKR and start looking at it and reading about it. And I know all the same tactics. You guys saw Connecting the Dots Part 17. You know exactly what they're capable of by looking at what Apollo's been doing. But this one's going to be a little different because when I started following the breadcrumbs, it led me to somewhere I did not want to go. I went in there, I saw it, and I said, oh my God, I need to tell the world. So I want you guys to watch this video, tag whoever you need to tag. At the end of this, I'll be tagging Ryan Cohen, Larry Chang, Alan Adel, Michael Day, Blake Day, and I'll let them know exactly what I uncovered because maybe they don't know that there's a snake in the grass. Pay attention, guys. I've been doing some homework. Now, what brought us here? This individual brought us here. I did not know about KKR or even looking into them with GameStop until I saw Bill Simon was on the board. Once I saw he was on the board, I said, wait a minute. He's an actual senior advisor to KKR. I want to know what's going on. And when I saw him at Chico's, it kind of gave me the red flag because if you guys know about Chico's, it's a women apparel company. And I didn't understand what he brought to the table. Him having the credibility of being the former president and CEO of Walmart is one thing, but it's kind of like overkill when it comes to Chico's. So when I went and looked at Chico's, I saw they had connections to Zales Jewelers, and that's Apollo. And then I also saw that they left Chico's after they went bankrupt, and they did what they wanted to do with that one, the private equity firms. They went over to Neiman Marcus, those executives, and Bath & Beyond. So when I saw what happened to those companies going bankrupt, well, it's written in stone, right? Like you guys have to know that these private equity firms have been doing this for a long time. And what have they been doing? Planting their people on boards and manipulating outcomes, manufacturing outcomes. So we're going to go over all of that tonight. In addition to that, guys, God, hang on, pay attention. Let's go get it. Before I even do that, I'm going to show you this really quick. But while I do this, I'm going to tell you like a quick little thing. I know this is no edits, no cuts. You know I don't care. I have been making videos through my phone, doing that in transit on the run only because I'm so busy with work and I'm trying to still do my career and do YouTube. And it's tough, right? There's an equilibrium there, a balance I have to keep. I got to take the wife out and the kids. But I will tell you this. When I've been digging into this and putting this together, I've been in the background for about 2 weeks now. For the last week, you have not seen me behind the camera in the lab with the video because I've been doing this one. I've been doing the homework, trying to figure out exactly how I want this message to come across and then the history behind it all. So I had to read some books. I had to do some things. And I just want to share that with you. So let's go see what KKR is all about. Okay? I just want you guys to know that. So KKR. And it was founded by Henry Kravitz and George Roberts. They make the decision over dinner at Joe and Rose restaurant. This is 747 right there in New York, Queens, New York, if I'm not mistaken. But they went ahead and decided in 1776 they were going to form this company called KKR. They were both partners at Bear Stearns at a very young age, 29, 30 years old, 31 years old, respectively. While they were at Bear Stearns, they went ahead and wanted to go a different direction because they heard through the grapevine people were making money doing leverage buyouts. Private equity firms are one thing, but to do these corporate raids like they were doing in the 80s, Ivan Boesky and Mike Milken, they all wrote the playbook essentially, certainly Mike Milken, but these guys wanted to get their hands on it, Henry Kravitz and George Roberts, who are cousins. They had a third guy by the name of Jerome Kohlberg Jr. Jerome Kohlberg Jr. worked at Bear Stearns with them. He later got out of the company, KKR, but they kept his name on the head because everybody knew that it was KKR, right? Once you have a name and a brand, you go with it. So here's the cousins. Yes, they look similar with that beak on their face, but billionaires can buy a lot, so I'm sure they have someone tucking them in at night. But these guys are worth about $5 billion apiece, last I checked. Jerome Kohlberg passed away 2015 at 90 years old. He owned the Gazette. As you know, private equity firms tend to own media companies to manipulate outcomes and get the story out there. That's how they control the media. And if you can do it, well, that's how they do it. So let's talk about Henry Kravitz first. So Henry Kravitz is one of the founders, guys. And Henry Kravitz was a part of all these deals here. Whenever you look at KKR, they were part of Toys R Us. Toys R Us is very particular to me because of Laser Haas. Laser Haas is CEO that came into our channel here and did an interview with him. And he did it with no edits, no cuts. He literally did it over the phone live. He had a story to tell. And he's a whistleblower, known whistleblower with the SEC, to tell you that these guys offered him money, bribed him money to get the hell out of Toys R Us. Now, he was the CEO of eToys His idea was to sell toys online, and that would have saved Toys R Us. And he was willing to partner up with them, and they tried to offer him a bribe and told him to get the hell out of here. Why? Because they were carving out assets already and diluting this company, Toys R Us. And when that was happening, Dave Kasten was writing it up. And of course, Dave Kasten's the same lawyer that Bed Bath & Beyond just hired. You guys know the parallels there. But yeah, Laser Oz has a story to tell, and Toys R Us was telling it to me. And that's why private equity has, extreme leverage on companies. The next one's going to be Royal Entertainment Group. This is the counter of what AMC is. Regal Entertainment Group. I don't know why I said Royal, but Regal Entertainment Group, parent company is Cineworld. If you know, they had to deal with Cineplex to go ahead and buy their company and their theaters for $1 billion. They backed out of the deal, and then they got sued. And then they got sued because of that settlement for the $1 billion. They had to offer a settlement charge, whatever it may be, and they had to file for bankruptcy. And that was recently. So these guys are involved with Regal Entertainment Group and Safeway. That was the LBO as well, and we'll talk about it. There's other deals going on, and we're going to talk about them in a minute, but I just want to give you an idea of who Henry Kravitz is, one leg of KKR and what they are. George R. Roberts. He has a wife, when I read this, and her name is Linnea, I believe that's how you say her name, Conrad. When I looked her up, I couldn't find anything. She's a partner at Goldman Sachs. But when I looked her up again, because she got married, her last name is Roberts, Gingerbread Capital. So pay attention to what something like Frank here says. Frank is a company, a New York-based provider of a platform for students to apply for financial aid. They raised $5 billion. But look who their investment is from. Apollo Global Management co-founder Mark Rowan, and the new backer of the investment, Gingerbread Capital, that would be George Roberts' wife. Now, why do I tell you this, guys? Because Apollo and KKR go hand in hand. Numerous investments across America where they do that jumping, the pounce. You guys know that they're in competition with each other, but they're actually helping each other, because if we can both eat, we eat, period. And their job is to, leverage companies and get them the hell out of the way. So that's the wife right there. Lenena, I don't know how to really say her name. I believe that's how you say it. Conrad Roberts. So she's Gingerbread CEO and founder, and she's the one giving up money along with Mark Rowan on the same investment. Kind of tells you just how partnered up they are. But the one deal that gave them, their shine, their name, got out there to the public, to the masses, was the KKR deal of Nabisco. So RJR Nabisco is two companies. If people knew that one is a smoking company, cigarette company, the other one is going to be snack company, right? And that's what we all know Nabisco by. But there was a guy named Ross Johnson. And Ross Johnson, there's a book out here called Barbarians at the Gate. There's also a movie. And he's the guy on the right-hand side with the dark-colored suit. He's from Canada, good dude. And what did he do? He went out here and tried to save his company, Nabisco. Now, the problem with Nabisco back in the 80s was the price was wrong on the stock. It was evaluated incorrectly. Sound familiar? And they went ahead and put plants on this guy. They sent him everybody they could, say, hey, you guys need to go ahead and take this money from KKR. They're going to help you out. And the way they were going to do it was they were going to go private. They were going to go ahead and offer a certain dollar amount per share, leverage themselves out. And how do you do that? You take the money from KKR, and they go ahead and buy all the shares with that money. So if the price is so low on your stock and it's not being respected, you just go do that, and they offer you some ridiculous amount. And it could be $90 a share. It could be $100 a share. Depends where you're at. But in this case for them, for Nabisco, they actually made a profit. And while they're negotiating this deal, they start getting bad press releases coming out. People start actually telling the press that they're trying to leverage themselves. So they lost a lot of value in their company while it was happening with false narratives. And Ross Johnson got pushed out of the company. He got leveraged out. Yes, he had a $50 million golden parachute. That's part of it. But KKR went in and took everything. Now, KKR leveraged RJR Nabisco, but the truth is this: at the very end, in July 2004, KKR agreed to sell off their last portions of this investment to Apollo Global Management for $1.2 billion. So Apollo and KKR have always been a part of this. If you guys can read the book and or watch the movie, go do it. It's phenomenal. Tells the whole story. And, Ross Johnson just got caught up. He didn't know what was going on. And they painted him out to be a villain because of his compensation package and because of the way it all played out. So KKR, they leverage people out. And this is where they got their credibility from. This is where they got their cachet. A $25 billion deal went out to the public, and that's when you knew KKR was serious and they were real. So that was true. Now let's look at where they're located. KKR initially was located in the Salo building. You guys know that with with Apollo, with Silver Lake, with Avon. They were in that building, but now they're at a new building, the eighth largest building in New York. This building here is 30 Hudson Yards. 30 Hudson Yards, as you look at who's in the damn building, you're going to find out it's Wells Fargo, CNN, all the studios, Warner Brothers, and Facebook. But KKR is at the top of this building. So I just want you guys to see what it looked like and what they're doing and where they're at. And of course, if you want to control the media, what do? You go in there to CNN, you let Anderson Cooper know what you need him to put out. But I don't know too much. So this is kind of weird here. I want you guys to understand this is where I can start connecting dots, okay? So I went ahead and looked up KKR's investments, and I found one. And so right here it says Blackstone and KKR chase a $2.4 billion data deal with the NBA partner. And I was like, yo, I know about this NBA deal. So you guys know, and whenever I see NBA, I think private equity, and I always will because I know that they're in there. NBA is the only sports league that doesn't really have too many requirements as far as who can own it and who can't. NFL, no private equity is allowed per se as being the majority stockholder. The minority, you can, but not the majority. So when we go look at this, Blackstone and KKR have reportedly advanced to the second round of bidding and an auction for minority stake in Sport Trader. When I read up on Sport Trader, it tells me that collects and analyzes data from live sporting events. Well, when you go look to see who's invested in that, you're going to see Michael Jordan, right? So right there, I'm just like, oh man, Michael Jordan's in this damn thing. And I just don't want to be anywhere near it. But as I kept reading, it says, those names are indicative of Sports Trader's close ties to the NBA. And it'll tell you here, Washington Wizards owner Ted Leonsis, I want to say his name is Leonsis. There you go. Ted Leonsis is one of the co-founders. He's the co-founder of this damn thing. So I went ahead and started reading up on it. And when I read up on it, it tells me that the new Sports Trader partners are the Canadian Pension Plan Investment Board. Remember, I talked about this in another video. CPPIB, they're the largest individual investors to Apollo and their funds ever, right? Canada gives all their money to Apollo, and they have numerous deals. And you'll see here, $1.4 billion private placement. You'll see another one here. CPPIB is reviewing Apollo management. And what are they doing? Has almost $3 billion in capital committed to Apollo's private equity funds. So Jennifer Kerr, just to give you an example, she just got hired after 19 years with CPPIB, and she's at Apollo now. So once I saw that, I was like, oh man, KKR involved with this company called Sports Trader, and everyone's trying to get in. But I remember I saw that name of the creator of it was right here, Ted Leonsis. Okay, I saw that name shot up. It was a red flag. I was like, yo. Then I went and looked at this deal. Fortnite creator Epic Games raises $1.2 billion in funding. So Fortnite, who is the nemesis of what GameStop really is, found some funding, and it was pretty telling when I found out who was funding Fortnite. And it said KKR is giving money to Fortnite. At the same time KKR is giving money to Fortnite, okay, and propping that up, they're sitting on the board of directors at GameStop. That's exactly what was happening here. Now, why did I look at this again and look twice? Because they told me that Ted Leonsis, right here, is part of the investment group giving money to Fortnite. I said, man, that's twice now I've seen this guy tied up with KKR. Whatever KKR is doing, he's doing. Ted Leonsis, right? So I go look at him. I've had enough. So when I look at him and I see the CEO of Monumental Sports and Entertainment, he's the CEO and founder, chairman of the board of Monumental Sports. So I had to go look that up. When I looked at Monumental Sports, I saw that the vice president for Monumental Sports was Raul Fernandez. Okay, he's an entrepreneur. He's this guy. He's a little guy in the picture with the four gentlemen. And when I looked at it, it tells me that he does fundraisers, he does functions, and who's there? Michael Jordan's there and everything. I said, okay, hold on. So you mean to tell me Michael Jordan's partnered up with a guy like this, with Ted Leonsis and all of his investments as well, as they're doing Sports Trader, everything else. So why is that all a red flag to me? Because as you know, GameStop appoints Raul Fernandez and Elizabeth Dunn to the board of directors. And when he went to the board of directors, he's no longer there now, but he was there. And he's the vice president for Ted Leonsis, okay? He is, Raul Fernandez. That connecting dot there tells you everything because Ted Leonsis is strictly involved with KKR, as in putting money on multiple things for KKR, with KKR. So what the hell is he doing there? Is he the plan of the lifetime? And so that when I uncovered that, guys, my mind, I was like, boom. Oh my God, we got it. We got another KKR guy, him and Bill Simon, both on the board at the same time. Here's my problem. Here's my dilemma. Yeah, he works for Ted Leonsis, right? He's on the board of directors with Volution Capital. You see, I need to know something, Larry Chang. Now, I know you're in GameStop, and I know you're all in with whatever Ryan's doing. Ryan is RC Ventures. I get that. You gave money to Ryan, $10 million, his seed funding for Chewy. I understand all of that. I also know Ryan Cohen has put in over $40 million recently on GameStop over the last 2 years. He's put his own money on the table. So have you, Larry. This guy's sitting on your board of directors. He's the vice chairman and partner at Monumental Sports and Entertainment. That is direct ties to KKR. If you don't see him and you don't see how they're both invested into multiple things, i.e. Fortnite, this guy was invested into Fortnite while sitting on the board of directors at GameStop, even today. And when I say this guy, because Monumental Sports is invested into Fortnite. Do you understand the ties that I'm putting together here? This deals with like trust issues in a way. I don't know if I can trust him. My conclusion. Raul Fernandez was sitting on the board at GameStop while working for a company that's owned by Ted Leonsis, who's actually pouring money against what GameStop is doing. And that would be pouring money into Epic Games. You know, you also have another person at Volution Capital from Riot Gaming. And Riot Gaming's largest contributor is some Chinese company called like Tenet or something. And they're also the biggest investors into Fortnite as well. So I'm just like, hey, how many claws do we have out here? Listen, this is not deterring me from GameStop and what I'm putting in, because I'm all in with Ryan. I'm all in with you. I'm all in with me. I love the direction of the company. But I ask you, Larry Chang, have we fully vetted Raul Fernandez? Because Raul Fernandez, for me personally, for him to work for Ted Leonsis, who's putting in money with KKR everywhere, I want to know what the direct impact that has. Connect the dots all you want, guys. I've been doing it for a long time. I have not seen GameStop do anything systematically to ruin your investment. No reverse stock splits, no leverages, no buying shit they don't need. Yes, they have failed on 2 or 3 things over the last 2 years, but you can fail at things. Remember, you can make a mistake once, just don't make it twice. That's me. So I always try to learn from my mistakes and keep moving forward, which they are doing on the books that I can see. But I'm being fair and impartial when I tell you this. I am suspect to what Volution Capital has on that board of directors with him in particular. I love Larry Chang. I love Ryan Cohen and what they're doing. I'm with them until the damn end. You guys know this. Don't ever doubt it. But I wouldn't feed it to you any other way. I wouldn't hold the truth from you. I wouldn't take away that last slide and say, hey, Raul Fernandez, I put the pieces together. You're partnered up with Ted Leonsis, and that's going to tell you that they are KKR. But I have to show you the truth, because when I found out that you're Volution Capital, boom. Remember, I could have just stopped the video there, or I could have stopped looking for you there once I found out. But I didn't. I kept going, and I dug as deep as I want to dig as of yet, until Larry tells me what the hell it is. You know, if Larry tells me Marantz, he's a good guy, and this is where we're at, and this is why, I'm just going to tell you, Larry, are you aware that he works for the enemy? That's what I call it. When I see Ted Leonsis actually putting out money with KKR everywhere, that's a partner. That's money. That's how this series works. And I haven't been wrong on this series yet, guys. We haven't said one thing that's going to happen and it not happen. So when you go look at Carvana and you look at the bonds that are owned 90% by Apollo, understand what they're doing. They're leveraging themselves out. When you go look at Kohl's, they're leveraging themselves out. You go look at Mullen Automotive, they're leveraging themselves out. You go look at Bed Bath & Beyond, they're already out. Then you're going to look at GameStop, and I'm telling you what they're doing. They're kicking ass and taking names. But this connection really has me bent in a way. I want to know what Larry's doing. I want to know what Raul's doing. Raul, come out here, do the interview with me. Let me see what you're all about. Larry, tell me the truth. Other than that, guys, Connecting the Dots Part 35. You can learn all you want about KKR, Nabisco, and all the other leverage plays, but something like this, something doesn't feel right. I love the investment. I love the stock. I'm just asking questions about Raw. That's it. No, guys, I'm fair. I'm being real with you. GameStop. Can't stop, won't stop, GameStop. Don't doubt it. I'm all in, baby. Peace.